Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. Records continue to tumble on the Lal Street as India's equity market capitalization crosses 300 lakh crore rupees for the first time. The Sensex and the Nifty end flat after a range-bound session. The government plans to pump in 30,000 crore rupees into oil marketing companies. Sources say the infusion is likely through a rights issue and preferential issues. They are working to get the cabinet nod. ITC begins the process of hiving off its hotel business. The conglomerate is exploring alternate structures in line with industry dynamics. Sources say a separate listing for the hotel business is also being considered. That's an exclusive. Manipal Group offers to invest 1,000 crore rupees into API Holdings, the owner of Thyrocare and Pharmeasy. Sources say Manipal is eyeing an 18% shareholding and a board seat. That's another exclusive. Maruti Suzuki shares hit a record high as the company unveils its most expensive car yet, launches a multi-purpose vehicle called Invicto in partnership with Toyota for a starting price of nearly 25 lakh rupees. Bajaj Auto and Triumph launched two 400cc bikes called Speed and Scrambler. The Speed 400 priced at 2.33 lakh rupees. Rajiv Bajaj promises something special is coming up for the company's iconic brand Pulsar in this financial year. The Union Cabinet approves the Data Protection Bill. It's aimed at safeguarding personal data and is likely to be introduced in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. India's Labour Court calls the termination of 17 former cabin crew of Lufthansa illegal, orders the German carrier to return their jobs and pay them full wages from the date of termination till the 3rd of July. The airline tells CNBC-TV18 it has taken note of the order but is yet to make a legal assessment. Both the NCP factions hold their roll call. Ajit Pawar flaunts 29 MLAs at the meeting versus 13 at Sharad Pawar's conference. Some legislators stay away. Election Commission receives a petition from Ajit Pawar staking claim to the NCP party symbol. The Sharad Pawar faction also files a caveat. Well, straight to the day's trading action. Records continue to tumble on the Lal Street after India's market cap hit a record high, crossing 300 lakh crore rupees for the first time. Now, today, despite a range-bound session, the Nifty and the mid-cap index posted a record close, the Sensex ending flat with a slight negative bias. However, the Nifty Bank underperformed the blue chips, and that index saw cuts of 0.25%, with HDFC Bank being the big laggard today. From markets to commodities, Brent crude prices fell as concerns over a global economic slowdown weighed on market sentiment. This despite Saudi Arabia and Russia saying they would extend and deepen output cuts into August. The Indian government is planning a 30,000 crore rupee infusion into oil marketing companies. Sources say the centre is working to get the cabinet's approval for the same. Sapna joins us now with the details. Sapna, take us through the plan.
Well, definitely the government is preparing for a cabinet approval for the 30,000 crore worth of capital infusion into the oil marketing companies, and this has been a budget announcement and that will come through. Having said that, any kind of a capex support, basically means equity infusion into the companies, equity support, and that can happen through two routes, a rights issue or a preferential issue. In this case, companies are opting for the rights issue, and that's how it's going to go forward. However, if there is any unsubscribed portion to the rights issue, government being the promoter will have to pick it up. So accordingly, there could be a marginal uptick in the shareholding of government stake in these companies, but that's something that we'll have to wait and watch and see how the response to the rights issue pans out. Also, another observation from government sources is the fact that all those brokerage notes that have come out, brokerage observations on the BPCL rights issue of 18,000 crores, well, according to government, that they are kind of, overblown, simply because of the reason that we have stated, that any kind of a capex support has to come in the form of a rights issue or a preferential issue, and accordingly, depending on the response, the government stake can go up, can come down. It also translates into equity infusion, and the GOI at this stage is pretty much clear about its plan and sticking to this 30,000 crore worth of capital infusion into these companies.
All right, Sapna, many thanks for joining us. Now, the growth in India's services sector has declined to a 3-month low in June. The S&P Global India Services PMI came in with a reading of over 58 compared to over 61 for the month of May. Any reading above 50 indicates expansion, and the services sector continues to expand for the 23rd consecutive month. On to the big CNBC-TV18 exclusive news break today. ITC has started the process of hiving off its hotel business. That is what we're given to understand from sources. In a statement to CNBC-TV18, ITC said it is exploring alternate structures for the business. ITC shares buzzing in trade on the back of that news break. Manglam joins us now with the details. Manglam, this has been long anticipated. What are you picking up?
Well, it may finally happen, and that's the word, that we get from our sources, that the ITC company has started the process of demerging or choosing alternate structures for their hotel business. It's been on the table for a very long time, and turns out that this time around it will be moved from the table and turn into actuality or reality as well. We understand from our sources that the ball has been set to roll. In fact, separate listing of the hotels division is one of the options that they are considering for alternate structures for their hotel business. And as of now, the hotel business is the only one which is under consideration for alternate structures and no other segments of the company. In fact, when we wrote to the company, they've said that alternate structures are being explored in line with industry dynamics. And we've seen the kind of dynamics that have been there for the hotel industry, the resurgence post-COVID itself. Perfect timing, perhaps, to unlock value in their hotel business. The stock has seen a big rally in the past. And in the past, Sanjeev Puri, too, has said in multiple interactions that alternate structures are on the table and it'll take a couple of quarters for fruition, and turns out the ball has been set to roll.
Manglam, many thanks for joining us. Now, the HDFC Twins closing trade as Nifty's top losers today after a 5-day winning streak. The merged entity also posted its first business update with HDFC Bank, posted a tepid pace of quarter-on-quarter growth. The bank's advances growth on a standalone basis also came in at a multi-quarter low. Shares of Paytm surging in early trade after the company reported robust loan disbursements in the first quarter of this fiscal. The company's merchant payment volume for the June quarter jumped 37% to more than 4 lakh crore rupees. Meanwhile, loan distribution disbursements rose more than 15% year-on-year, the stock up 2%. The initial public offering of jewellery maker Senco Gold has been fully subscribed on the second day. As of 4 p.m, the issue has been subscribed more than 2 times, while the retail portion was booked more than 3 times. The issue has also received strong response from non-institutional investors who bid more than 2 times their quota. The company is expected to raise more than 400 crore rupees. Another exclusive this evening. The Manipal group, we learn, has offered to invest 1,000 crore rupees into API Holdings, which is the parent company of e-commerce company Pharmeasy. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that existing investors of API Holdings are expected to invest around 1,500 crore rupees in the funding round. Nisha joins us now with more details. Nisha, what are your sources telling you?
That's right. It's a large fundraise exercise by Pharmeasy's owner, API Holdings. We do gather from sources with direct knowledge that Manipal Group, or the family office entity, has offered to pay 1,000 odd crore rupees, infuse it in API Holdings, and on a post-money basis, they could be owning a little over 18% stake in API Holdings. And backed by this bet that Manipal Group has taken on API Holdings, the whole host of existing shareholders of API Holdings have also agreed to infuse the remaining 1,500 crore rupees. So it's close to about 2,500 crore rupees being raised by API Holdings for debt repayment. Now, the most important aspect, and there are 2 of them. First, this debt repayment is extremely important for API Holdings, which is also the promoter of Thyrocare and had pledged 100% of the shares of Thyrocare to Goldman Sachs, and the breach of covenant can really lead to invoking of the pledged shares, and that's why this repayment is extremely important. And second, and the most important aspect of this deal could be a huge, massive markdown in terms of the valuations of API Holdings, which earlier was $2.8 billion. Now it's mere 6,000 crore rupees, at which the new fund will be given for its debt repayment obligations.
All right, Nisha, many thanks for joining us. The market regulator SEBI has decided to amend its credit rating regulations, and this will facilitate the registration of ESG rating providers. The rules state that no person or institution can act as an ESG rating provider unless they obtain a certificate from SEBI. And speaking of SEBI, the market regulator has released a consultation paper on measures to improve cybersecurity and cyber resilience. As per the consultation paper, regulated entities, including brokers, may be held accountable for cyber risks posed by their third-party vendors. And there is plenty of activity in the automobile space. We talked about two-wheelers just a short while ago, and it's now turn for Maruti Suzuki. The company has launched its most expensive car in India yet. Maruti Suzuki launched a multi-purpose vehicle called the Invicto. This is another product being launched in partnership with Toyota. The starting price for the car will be just under 25 lakh rupees. It employs a hybrid petrol engine and is available in 3 variants. Danish Anand spoke with Maruti Suzuki's CEO to find out more.
So far, even without introducing the price, we are so much surprised to receive more than 6,000 bookings already in our hand. This is much bigger than our anticipation. So we are very happy with this situation.
Right. So since this is the first car which is priced over the rupees 20 lakh price bracket, so and if we compare this with the other Toyota car which is based on, so we are seeing that the car is a bit higher, highly priced. So what is the rationale behind this?
We do not think that the car is overly priced. When you see the products, the features, the specification and the performance, I think this car was that price level. And we are quite sure that customer will understand and accept.
How much more market share are you expecting in the MPV segment? And overall, do you think that after this launch, your overall market share will again, go up the 50% range?
Of course, we'd like to, go beyond 50% for the MPV segment. So we will see. If we are lucky, maybe we can go up.
Well, that's Maruti Suzuki, and the stock reacting positively to the developments. Crossed 10,000 rupees for the very first time, closed below that. From cars to the battle for premium bikes, Bajaj Auto today launched 2 400cc bikes, the Speed and the Scrambler. This is in partnership with Triumph. The Speed 400 is priced at a very aggressive 2.33 lakh rupees. But there is an introductory offering for the first 10,000 customers. It will be 10,000 rupees lower. Shares of Bajaj Auto rallied in trade, with analysts seeing the pricing as competitive. Meanwhile, shares of Eicher Motors, the maker of Royal Enfield, closed lower in trade today. Remember, Bajaj and Hero Motor have entered this 400cc segment, which has been the preserve largely of Royal Enfield up until now. Bajaj Auto has yet to reveal the price of its second product, which is the Scrambler. Parikshit spoke with Rajiv Bajaj, who said the partnership with Triumph is about affordable aspiration. He's also promised something special for Pulsar fans this financial year.
The reason for the success of our partnership with KTM, which saw KTM go from 65,000 motorcycles a year in 2007 to becoming the #1 premium motorcycle in the world by volume now at over 300,000 motorcycles a year, is because we did not comply with this implicit assumption that you can either buy something that's affordable or something that is aspirational. What KTM Bajaj brought to the table, and if I may say so, then motivated TVS, BMW, and even Bajaj-Triumph to come together, was to be able to offer affordable inspiration, let's say, or affordable aspiration to that customer. We have something very special in the works within this fiscal year, towards the end of it, hopefully, for those who absolutely love the Pulsar. The next big thing with the Pulsar. So we've done, I think, a reasonable job with the Triumphs.
Well, that is Rajiv Bajaj there on the product launch with Triumph, but more importantly on what is to come for their iconic Pulsar brand. Moving on to stories we're tracking in the aviation space. Relief for Go First after Delhi High Court refused to direct aviation regulator, the DGCA, to deregister its aircraft. The High Court has allowed lessors to access the aircraft and carry out maintenance at least twice a month. It's also restricted Go First from removing any parts from the aircraft in question. Tata Sons-owned airlines Air India and Vistara have told the Competition Commission of India that their merger will not impact competition adversely. The airlines also added that other competing airlines operate on all routes that the combined entity would fly on. This comes after the CCI was expected to scrutinize the merger of the two entities and had sent a show cause notice for the same. India's Labour Court has called the termination of 17 former cabin crew of Lufthansa Airlines illegal. The airline has been directed to reinstate these employees and pay them full wages since the date of termination. Lufthansa Group has told CNBC-TV18 it's taken note of the court's order but is yet to make a legal assessment. Madiha joins us now with more. Madiha, what has the Labour Court said?
Well, this matter dates back to December 2020 when Lufthansa had asked 102 cabin crew in India to go on leave without pay for 2 years. When the employees urged the airline to pay them at least half the salaries, Lufthansa insisted it won't be able to do so as it was facing losses in the COVID pandemic. The airline then terminated the services of these employees, and of the 102 cabin crew, 31 had settled the matter with the management, and the remaining 71 approached the Labour Ministry separately seeking relief. This specific order of the Labour Court relates to 25 of the 71 cabin crew who had jointly approached the court. 8 of these 25 employees had settled the dispute with the management, and 17 had continued their fight seeking relief. And on the 3rd of July, the court finally ruled in their favour. The Labour Court called their termination as illegal, and Lufthansa has been directed to reinstate these 17 employees. The court has also ordered that the employees be given their full back wages within 2 months. This means the airline will have to pay them full salaries since the time of termination, which is February 2021, till the date of the order, which is the 3rd of July. We reached out to Lufthansa asking if it will abide by the Labour Court's order or challenge it in a higher court. The airline in its response said it is yet to make a legal assessment of the order. So huge relief there for these employees who have been hoping for this verdict for over 3 years.
All right, Madiha, many thanks for joining us. We will head into a short break, but up next, the Union Cabinet approves the Data Protection Bill. It's aimed at safeguarding personal data and is likely to be introduced in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. That and more when we return. Well, rapid developments in Maharashtra's political landscape. At least 30 legislators have turned up on stage with the newly inducted Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar's mutiny over the weekend split the Nationalist Congress party into two factions. At the meeting, which was more of a show of strength, Ajit Pawar said he even had the ambition of becoming the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, claiming that all MLAs were in touch with him. Only over a dozen legislators turned up at Sharad Pawar's meeting. The Election Commission has received a petition from Ajit Pawar staking claim to the NCP party symbol.
आता जर वय जास्त झालं 82 झालं 83 झालं तुम्ही कधी थांबणार आहात का नाही तुम्ही आशीर्वाद द्या ना आज आमच्यामध्ये धमक किंवा ताकद नाही का सरकार चालवायची आहे आज महाराष्ट्राच्या राजकारणामध्ये जे काही 4-5 जण प्रमुख नेते म्हणून पाहिले जातात त्याच्यात माझं नाव कुठेतरी येते का नाही शेवटचं मग आम्हाला का आशीर्वाद दिला जात नाही
आमच्यावर करा काही करा पण बापाचा नाद नाही करायचा
Whatever you want to do with us, you may. But don't mess with my father. It's my accusation on BJP. If there is one most corrupt party in India, then it is BJP. This is not my accusation. They have alleged this.
देशातला सगळ्या आणि मी आरोप नाही केलेले आरोप त्यांनी केलेत
Supriya Sude there. Santya Gora joins us now with the latest. Santya, it is a show of strength on both sides, but so far we don't have clarity on the conclusive numbers that Ajit Pawar enjoys.
See, absolutely, Shireen. Now, both the factions from the beginning are claiming that they have the required support, they have the numbers, but the confusion still remains the same. Who does the real NCP belong to, and who exactly have the support of how many MLAs? Now, Ajit Pawar's side from the beginning has claimed that they have the support of 40 MLAs, and Sharad Pawar has the support of remaining 13 MLAs. But another way how the situation is slightly different from what happened in Maharashtra last year. So, Eknath Shinde from the very beginning, he made a list of MLAs supporting him public. He released their videos, pictures, their statements and whatnot. But Ajit Pawar, as of now, is yet to make that list public. Some MLAs did come here, did join him. He made some of them sign affidavits. But as of now, the clarity on how many MLAs are actually supporting Ajit Pawar and how many of them are still with Sharad Pawar, that clarity is yet to come. But today in his speech, Ajit Pawar made his ambitions pretty clear. This time, remember when he addressed the media immediately after swearing in, he said he has the support of all the party leaders, senior party leaders. He did not name Sharad Pawar, but he indicated that it was all done with Sharad Pawar's blessing. Though Sharad Pawar clarified that Ajit Pawar never called him, but today when Ajit Pawar was addressing his workers, he was in an attacking mode. He attacked Sharad Pawar. He said that why Sharad Pawar is not retiring, why is he being so stubborn, why did he resign from the post of party president in the first place when the plan was to withdraw it all along. And he said that, if Sharad Pawar didn't have the decision of going with Congress, if Sharad Pawar didn't do that, till today, NCP would have governed the state. Maharashtra would have gotten an NCP chief minister till 2023. He also made his ambitions clear that how he will do so many more things for the welfare of people if made the CM. So that's another thing Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde can take a note of. But as of now, both the sides are still trying to claim that they have the required support. Shri.
All right, Santya, many thanks for joining us. Now, the draft Digital Personal Data Protection Bill has been approved by the Union Cabinet. Sources tell us that the draft bill will be presented in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. Ashmit has been tracking that closely. He joins us now with the details. Ashmit, take us through the contours of the bill. What does it mean for you and me?
Well, it's been a 6-year wait. 2017 is when the Apex Court had declared privacy to be a fundamental right. And 6 years hence, we're coming closer to the framework as far as data protection is concerned. In terms of what it looks like, well, the final version is not available to anyone except for the government's eyes. What we do have is the November 2022 draft, which was put out there in the open for consultation. According to that, there are 5 key takeaways. Number one, the bill introduces the term data principles. That's for individuals such as you and I. You and I will have the right in terms of raising, in terms of grievance redressal mechanism, we have the right to seek deletion of information. by a data fiduciary. What is a data fiduciary? That's the second key takeaway. Data fiduciary would be any entity that would be collecting data from individuals such as us. So that includes everything from WhatsApp to Netflix to Twitter and everything in the middle. There are very clearly codified responsibilities that are cast on data fiduciaries, such as ensuring safeguards, ensuring that there is an alert put out whenever there's a data breach that is noticed. Also, that data can only be used for as long as the purpose is satisfied. So there are obligations cast on these fiduciaries. We will also see a data protection authority come up. It will be at par with the civil court. It will be appointed by the government. It will have powers of a civil court. It can be challenged before a high court as well, and that the orders passed by such a data protection authority will be binding on the fiduciaries. Interesting bit, they can put up penalties of 500 crores, which is a far cry from what contemporary legislation in other countries such as Europe have. They have penalties running up to 4% of the global turnover. Importantly, national security also finds mention as a part of this data protection framework. Under this framework, the government can exempt itself by a notification from complying with provisions of this legislation in cases of national security and public order.
All right, Ashmit, appreciate you joining us. We will, of course, wait to see the final version of the bill. We are given to understand that the Cabinet has cleared it and it is expected to be taken up in the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. That is a wrap on this edition of Business 360. But before we go, today marks the birth anniversary of investor Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who passed away last year. We leave you with a tribute to the Big Bell. Thanks for watching.
Other than Warren Buffett, he's the only man who's become a billionaire through stock market investing. That too in an emerging market.
I think what drove him was his intense belief in India, his intense belief in himself.
There was nothing called quit in Rakesh ji's vocabulary, mind, thought process.